YouTube, Southern Yankee 571, back at it again on this wonderful Manic Monday. If anybody hasn't had a chance to see Lisa Haven's feed on Friday, she covered a lot of the arrests and accusations being made all across the United States, from New York to Ohio, with people exercising their freedom of choice at football games or at rallies. So that led me to do a little research, and I saw one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a while. And everybody knows I'm not a very religious person. I have my beliefs, and I respect other people's beliefs. But there was a group of churches that got together in the Capitol just to sing hymns, since they aren't allowed to go to church and do it. They went out in public, and a few people got arrested, including a gentleman who was actually running for office was arrested. All these things, ladies and gentlemen, are going against our First Amendment rights, despite whatever the politicians say about this pandemic. I want to get the purpose of this channel out of the way, and that is to cover our constitutional rights. And today we're going to cover the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th of our amendment rights, because they kind of go hand in hand. If any of y'all don't know, our 5th Amendment rights states that no person shall answer to a capital or infamous crime unless indicted by a grand jury, with the exception of our armed forces. Now, a lot of people feel that our military gets away with more. They're like, oh, they're catered to, blah, blah, blah. And when it comes to this amendment, they always bring that up. But a lot of people aren't realizing that between a civil case and a military case is, in a civil capital case, you are indicted by a grand jury of your peers, other citizens like yourself. In the military, they don't get that option. When they have a grand jury in a military infamous case, it's usually jury members of their superiors or of higher rank. So I want to squash that misinformation right now. If you're indicted of a criminal indictment in the military, you will face harsher consequences than you will in a civil case. Now, the 6th Amendment, a lot of people are very much aware of. The 6th Amendment states that the accused has the right of the joy of a speedy and public trial, which means they try to get you in as quickly as possible, get it done and over with. Believe it or not, that's actually a right. When they start dragging out court cases and making it public and it becomes televised, that causes more biased and deeper opinions. Now, on to the 7th Amendment. The 7th Amendment is a little tricky. It's the oddball of all the amendments. Now, that states that all civil trials can only be done in a federal court system. This is where it gets tricky. Every state in the United States still has a legal right to have a civil jury. That's why, in case you guys haven't noticed, when you get these notifications for jury duty and things like that, that is the state exercising its right on the 7th Amendment. Now, on another note, if anybody has ever heard of Dr. Kanan Bridges, I hope I said your first name right, sir. You're an amazing man. This gentleman is a minister, and he's become a public figure, and he does live feeds over Facebook all the time. But he did one last night that really got to me. And he did a piece about, does anybody really think for themselves in today's society? And I agree with him. There are a lot of us out there still, by the masses, listening to mainstream media and not doing their own research. Ladies and gentlemen, he had brought up a word I haven't heard in 20 years. And that word was apartheid. And the way he described it is no one talks about apartheid anymore, and I don't think a lot of people know what apartheid is. Now, an apartheid is, by definition, an implementation or maintenance of a system of legalized racial segregation in which one specific racial group is deprived of their political and civil rights. Now, everybody knows that Africa, mainly South Africa, is under this apartheid. But the reason why Dr. Bridges had brought it up is it is happening here in the United States. Yes, I know a lot of you would not agree with that, but I remember about 4 or 5 years ago in Mississippi, there was an issue where the schools had 2 separate proms for white students and black students. And even though it finally came to light and people fought against it, that is a form of apartheid. Now, apartheid is a crime against humanity based off the Roman statute that is global. So it's in all United Nations legislations and laws, supposedly. But yet these things are being impeded all across the globe, and it's starting to filter here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, I talk a lot about us getting involved in our politics. And a lot of people are using that to debate the whole Biden and Trump, you know. Guys, that's the executive branch of our government. These are the people that sit at a desk and they either check yes or no on a bill or legislation. What we the people need to be focusing on is the judicial branch. The judicial branch is where the bills and the laws are being written. And that's where we, the people, need to get involved. Because some of these bills that are being passed under the radar. Does anybody remember about 2 years ago here in Alabama when they had that huge, and it was all over mainstream media, about the attack on the Confederate flag? Now, there are a lot of people that oppose that flag. There are a lot of people that support that flag. Some say it's part of history. I believe it's part of history. History has been ugly, and we have to have those reminders. Other people say it needs to go. I respect both sides of the fence. Everybody has the right opinion when it comes to that. Because you'll find that the black community, a lot of the black community, that flag represents oppression. And then, of course, the white community, it reminds people of the way things were 200 years ago when we were still ignorant and biased. But either way, while we focused on that, ladies and gentlemen, bills are being passed underneath the radar. One of those bills was the smoking ban in cars, and a lot of people don't realize that. If the police want to, and they catch you smoking a cigarette in the car with small children in it, you can be arrested, and your children can go to foster care, because it's considered child endangerment. And a lot of people don't realize that bill was passed. Another bill that was passed during that time frame in Alabama is the no warrant knock and seizure, where they could just come into your home just on a whim. And again, that bill got passed, and that bill is an abomination to our amendment rights. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. That is our Fourth Amendment rights, to be protected in our persons, our home, our paperwork, and our property. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not out here to try to pit sides against anybody. We are one nation under God. And the problem we're having is everybody is fighting over these little differences. In the meantime, these bills and these laws are putting a tighter reins on our civil rights and our Constitution. And I've said it 100 times before. If we do not step up and voice our opinion and get our petitions going and get involved, they will take away our constitutional rights. I don't want that for any American whatsoever. I enjoy what little freedoms I have in 2020. I enjoyed the larger amount of freedoms I had in the 1990s. And a lot of you out there that have served in our armed forces might have been sent in on deployment on false pretenses, but you all still fought for the freedom of our nation. So no matter how the rest of the masses view you, I salute you and I thank you for your services. Same with our police department. Ladies and gentlemen, these people are people, and a lot of them are sworn to an oath to protect this Constitution, protect our freedoms, protect you and me. And there are a handful of them out there that are doing just downright disgusting things. And again, I'm going to bring up Lisa Haven again. She just did a piece this morning pointing her religious beliefs onto what's going on in today's society, and I respect that. Lisa believes that what is happening right now is there is a satanic kingdom building in our government. And according to the Christian belief systems, this is Revelations, ladies and gentlemen. And whether we want to accept it or not, our world is taking a horrible turn if we don't stand up. We are at a historical moment in the history of the United States. And it's up to us whether freedom will ring or if enslavement will come. So I'm begging you out there, do what you can to protect our constitutional rights. Put aside your biases. You wish that gay couple down the street a wonderful day. Smoke your weed, drink your drink, work your job, buy the things that make you happy without supporting these evil corporate overlords. There are plenty of small businesses. So with that, I want to get a shout out to Dylan Scott and Susan Chamley. I think I said that right. Over at Two Peas in a Pod, like I said, Northeast Alabama. If you haven't seen these two beautiful people, go check out their store. It's amazing. Lisa Haven, you and Justice Knight over at Restricted Republic. Keep doing what you're doing. We love you guys. We support you. Hodge Twins, keep rocking. Graham Allen, we salute you. Dr. Kanan Bridges, God has touched you with a gift, sir, and I hope you're able to use it. To me, you're the new age Martin Luther King Jr., and no one will convince me otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our nation, our country. I'm willing to stand. I hope you are too. If you get a chance, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment. I want to get you guys involved. Like I said, this platform is for all of us. I want the world to see what we're trying to do. I want the world to see that there are people that have not given up on freedom and religion and equality all across the globe. And hit that notification bell so we could have this conversation every week. Y'all, be safe. God bless. Till next time, Patriots.